today. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in and watching all of our videos. And if you'd be so kind to subscribe to this channel or page or follow us or whatever it is that you need to do so we can share these videos and continue growing this network and getting the message out to a larger audience. That's really the goal. And you guys have been so great with the dialogue that you've had and all the activity that you've been interacting with on the group page Beating Catcher today. We're just about on every different platform of social media. You can find us under Beating Catcher today, but the main platform that we use as a hub for all of the documentation and literature that we use to cite in all of the episodes that we do, that is located on our group page of Beating Cancer today. So hey, listen, my all-time disclaimer is that I'm not a doctor and I'm zero medical or scientific or biological training. I'm just a United States Marine, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. And after years of Western medicine treatment, I was able to exhaust all means of Western medicine efforts, and I was referred to hospice, and I was sent home. I wasn't really ready for that, so I found a solution in repurposed medicine, and I actually I scoured every database I could possibly access on the World Wide Web and otherwise, and I was able to obtain clinical medical evidence and research and published studies, clinical trials throughout Western medicine, and all of those revealed the efficacy of the 5 ingredients that I ultimately referred to as my cancer cocktail. The ingredients of that cocktail is fenbendazole, cimetidine, AHCC, curcumin, and annatto. Those are the 5 ingredients, and each one of those ingredients has been scientifically proven through medical evidence to support the adjacent ingredient in the cocktail when taken together. It enhances the efficacy of its ability to travel and eradicate disease. Yeah, when you take them all together, yeah. Eradicate disease. That's right. Eradicate disease. Folks, I actually was sent home and I was referred to hospice. I opted out of hospice, actually. My wife had other plans. And so we elected to take matters into our own hands. I started this repurposed medicine through the research that I was able to do. And 6 weeks into it, I had 50% less disease. After that scan, I continued doing it, and 14 weeks into taking this cocktail, I was no evidence of disease, and that was 9 scans ago, over 2 years. That I've been no evidence of disease. Signatera testing, blood work, and scans all revealed no evidence of disease, and it's been consistent ever since. So it's not that I'm surviving anymore. I'm thriving. So each one of these ingredients have been proven through science, through medical, clinical evidence to support the next ingredient when taking a concert. So that's something that you got to think about, and it's not an either or thing. It's not like you have to choose to do this in lieu of Western medicine. I don't vilify Western medicine at all. In fact, to the contrary, Western medicine kept me alive. Without Western medicine, I wouldn't be here. So listen, you found us for a reason. All right, you're here because what was being shoved down your throat was not working, and I'm assuming that that's why you found us, or it happened to a loved one. This works, all right, and there's thousands of people in this community that can attest to that, and you're amongst a community of people who can share their experiences and of positive trending through cocktail. So, I mean, it's I could show you better than I could tell you. That's what we'll go ahead and go with. All right, but I don't want to talk about medicine today. I wanted to focus a little bit about the journey that each of us have. All right, today I wanted to talk a little bit about uh, fueling the fire or how to empower your journey while beating the shit out of this disease into submission. So I said it before, cancer is very curable. However, there is no magic pill. All right, I don't want to give people the thought that I'm trying to sell you a magic pill. Okay, I'm not selling anything, and nobody ever associated with beating cancer today will ever ask you for money or involve themselves in your finances in any sort of way. All right, so we don't monetize cancer. All right, so that is something to consider when you're thinking about your resources here. But it's very curable. It's just there's really no magic pill. It's a collective effort of things. But although there's many solutions that are out there through repurposed medicine, it's not what I'm talking about is not the end all be all. But there's several solutions that just not explored by Western medicine anymore. However, they were all proved to be effective by Western medicine. They're just not utilized by Western medicine. I don't understand. But all those medicines are not going to amount to anything if the person who's taking it doesn't have resilience and determination. I mean, all these medicines they're out there that nobody talks about. None of those are going to work if you're not resilient about it, and if you don't exercise determination when you're engaging in this battle. All right, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit. What I've said in previous episodes, just because I approach everything as if it's warfare. I have to be calculated like that. I have to be very direct. They're more bullet points instead of a narrative. So I kind of approach things as if this is warfare, and that's kind of how I put things in order, I guess you could say. But and that's a making. I feel like when you make correlation that this is battle, all right, and that this is warfare, I believe honestly that is the way that's how you build a warrior. That is the making of a warrior. It's more than somebody who can just take a punch. All right, a warrior is more than somebody that can just take a punch. It's somebody who can take a punch and continue to be a threat by advancing to the target. You know, even though you're taking fire, you continue to advance to the target, and that's how you are truly a threat. You know, I would say it's not your will to survive or whatever. It's your ability to continue to take on fire and get to the target, advance to the target. So if it's between me or this disease, I'm gonna rip the eyeballs out of its skull and pull its guts right out through its eyeballs. So it's just there's nothing that is going to keep me from seeing my wife tomorrow, and I live in a calendar of tomorrows because I'm winning, and I will always see tomorrow. The old saying that tomorrow never comes. Well, hell, I have a calendar of tomorrows, and I look forward to enjoying all of them. So you need to understand the power that you have inside your brain is the power of mindset. Your mindset it's the strongest opponent, uh, and it's the strongest allies. One of the strongest allies that you'll ever have. It's a double edged sword. And it's as soon as I got diagnosed, my wife and I, we took a few hours to process. We spoke to family, we prayed on it, and then we got to work. There was no hemming and hawing. We knew immediately that we had to have a calculated approach to this. And it was a logistical, it was imperative. It was imperative to have logistical excellence in this category here, because we had to devise a plan and put it into effect, and then we had to execute. It's a pretty straightforward 3-step approach. You devise a plan, you put it into effect, and you execute, execute, execute. Now, maybe it's just because I'm a simple guy. I'm just I told you I'm just a Marine. I don't really know a whole lot, but I gotta say that it's just I have a pretty simplistic way of thinking, and maybe when I'm overwhelmed with thoughts, I like to reduce things to like a pen and paper. I'm old school. I'll go back to the kitchen table and I'll sit down and I'll make lists and stuff like that. So, my wife, she's very advanced and she's very technical and whatnot. But I'm old school. I like to just, you know what? I have to break this down and simplify things. I'm not that bright. Whatever. So, so we start strategizing and whatnot, and I go back to the kitchen table and I pull out the pen and paper and I start. I got what do you call it? A loose leaf paper. So notebook papers, a legal pad or whatever. So it's just funny to me because I everything is here, nowadays, or it's on a keyboard, but it's odd to say that you sit down and write something on paper. To me, at least, I don't know. But anyway, so I go back and I sit down and I'm writing a list on paper, and almost as if we started like we were starting a project and we had to go to Home Depot. It was just a matter of everything that I was going to need for this journey, to engage in this battle. Everything that I needed, I had to make a list of it, and like I was going to Home Depot, like I was starting a project or something. That's like my mentality as a guy. That's how I was thinking. I knew I was going to need a support circle and a few people that I could lean on, who were ride or die. No matter what, they would be there, hell or high water. They're ride or die. And I knew that I was going to need somebody who's going to be there on a moment's notice. And whatever the role was that they were going to play. I knew in my heart that they had to be from all different walks of life, though, because I don't want to say it takes a village, but I mean, it takes, you have to have different people play different roles. They have different strengths and whatever. And I can't carry anybody's weaknesses. I only need your strengths, right? So everybody is going to only bring what I need, and you leave the rest of that stuff wherever, at the door, because I can't handle anybody else. I can't carry anybody else's buckets of water. This is my battle. It's my battle. You're here for me, right? So in my support circle, obviously, I had my wife, who was a major part. She provided me with an umbrella, pretty much, that enabled me to avoid being exposed to anything negative, and no chaos, no thoughts, no worries at all. The only thing I had to do is focus on the battle. That was all I had to do. She took my phone, she answered my text messages, nothing. I had no voice. She pretty much just shielded me from anything and everything. And it was it was a beautiful thing. It really like I had no stress. I like had nothing to think, and I didn't even try to think of anything. The only thing I did was focus on the task at hand, and that was getting better. So, that was my job. That was my full time job. Just the battle, and I had a few spiritual beacons in my support circle that no matter what, they always kept me focused on the things that mattered. And never let me stray too far one way or the other. They always kept me centered and focused. Keeping God first and concentrating on my battle. So I feel like I always was able to breathe easy because I was always able to lean on those people. And conversely, they would never allow me to go sideways. You if I started to become undisciplined or I I strayed from the task at hand, maybe got discouraged somehow or whatever, it was they would identify it immediately and they would circle the wagons, right back to work. Wipe your face off and get back into the battle. That was the job. That was their job. A couple people that I like. I like to refer to them as my ride or die. They're the chip on my shoulder. They give me the competitive edge. Uh, the competitive edge, well, you could call it like a narcissistic angle. Because listen, it's time to get selfish, baby. You got one shot. This is your Hail Mary. This is your battle. It's time to get selfish because there's nobody else that is going to carry these buckets of water for you. No, sir. This is your cross to bear. So you're going to need somebody who's familiar with the medical jargon, the terminologies and whatnot. A friend that you're not afraid to be real with. There's going to be times where you're very, very vulnerable, and you got to be real with it. You're going to be exposed. So you got to have friends that's not an issue. We're grown now, and it's you got to push that aside. Okay. Um, Somebody who's familiar with research or that could be an advocate or a liaison for you when it comes to dealing with medical stuff or appointments uh, appointments or your scheduling, or transportation or travel arrangements, whatever it is, because some people aren't, going local for the treatment or whatever. So somebody who can handle all that stuff, you got to spread the load out because you're it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you're definitely going to want to spread the load out. And all of these rules are not all of these roles are not mutually exclusive. Like you don't need a different person for a role, but there's going to be more than one person likely because not for one person to be a support role for. You got to spread the load out a little bit, but it's not fair for one person to carry me through this journey. And you got to be able to lean on a few different things. Disperse the load. So you can have one person, in a few different roles, but you're just not going to have one person in every different role. So this is going to be your foundation. It's going to be your foundation, and when you're building anything, especially when you're building a warrior, the foundation is the most important part of your journey. So I mean, especially when you're building a warrior, that's that's a big deal. It ain't sticks and stones, I can tell you that. So listen, sorry, getting a little, eh, getting a little dry throat. So this is gonna be your foundation, all right. And when you have a good foundation, it's usually accompanied uh, with more confidence, for sure. I mean, I believe that. I felt safe, and when you feel safe, I believe that it brings more confidence to the situation, and with confidence, it enables you to have a completely different mindset. I could have received my diagnosis and immediately become a victim. I could have went into victim mode, and everything in my life. I mean, if you think about it, honestly, everything in my life was great. I was at the top of my game, and then I get sick. I could have paused and had a pity party. I could have and become a victim. I mean, I could become a victim, but that's the easiest thing to do, right? I mean, because everybody wants to fumble over you and with their pity and their sadness. No, no, thank you. That ain't me. So no, thank you. D- During my moment of reflection, I analyzed my history and how I got to this point. A cancer diagnosis comes with a degree of accountability, I think. If you expect to fix the problem, you have to be accountable to how you got to this point. I had to take ownership of how I got here, and through self neglect or or an abusive lifestyle, whatever it was. I mean, I got here. I think that there's a degree of personal responsibility, at least in my case, where I wasn't living the healthiest lifestyle. I don't think that I caused myself to get cancer. I mean, I don't think that I'm the one who did it, but I'm sure that I contributed to it with inflammation and all the abusive things that you could contribute to uh, to help your body have radical cells in them. So it's not the same. It's not the same. People cause themselves to get sick, but more often than not, people do contribute to their own sickness. Their own their own demise. So I mean, people do contribute to, and not to say that they all everybody makes themselves sick. No, but I think everybody does contribute to a certain degree. Um, so here I was, stage four colorectal cancer, and I had inoperable mets. And I think anybody would agree with me that um, if they were read the narrative, um, they're reading the narrative, they wouldn't be happy with what was going on here, and nor was I. So I bypassed the pity party and I did something to change the narrative so I could control the outcome. I took ownership of my health and I became proactive in my treatment and recovery process. So started I started to challenge the cookie cutter approach, the treatments that they were doing. Everything was cookie cutter, and the gold standard of care. It's the same. It's the same care. Everybody got the gold standard. Nobody goes to the hospital and says, "Oh, hey, listen, we're going to give you the third best treatment we could possibly give you." It's like the bronze. We're going to give you the bronze standard. No, nobody does that. So, they're all. It's just a cookie cutter process. So I did allow my doctors, to I did like the doctors initially they would come and go like there were 5 minutes in and out of the room. Meanwhile, I've been waiting 45 minutes in the waiting room, and then bam, they come in, they look at your chart once they walk into the door, not even really, and then you they're out. You get like 5 minutes with them. They're on to the next patient. So instead of allowing that to happen, I intentionally had a list of questions. I started challenging everything, and they knew that when they see me on the schedule, they better bring answers because I'm going to challenge everybody with questions, and I was certainly going to to challenge, if there was a test result or something like that. I was going to explore. I wouldn't let them just gloss over the results. I want to know why and how can I do things, and whatever the case was. So, and I do want to clarify something. Usually, sorry, I'm sorry, but a little, it's winter. So usually when people hear that I went home on hospice, and people assume that I'm mad at Western medicine, but that's not the case at all. And I want to make sure everybody knows that I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for Western medicine and chemotherapy. People say, "Oh, well, he must." Listen, I'm not vilifying Western medicine. Chemotherapy kept me alive long enough for me to find the right solution. Of repurposed medicine, but I I will forever be grateful to my doctors, all of my doctors and Western medicine that I got, because had it not been for all the doctors and their efforts and whatnot, I wouldn't be here. No doubt, no doubt at all. I'm forever grateful for my doctors, and everybody at Moffitt was great in Tampa, and sometimes it's hard when you're trying to reduce the chaos and wrong advocate for your own treatment, and especially when it comes to your health, and it's you're the advocate for your own treatment. You're not trying to help somebody else. This is on you, and you have nobody else to ask, really. I mean, it's not like you're taking a collective uh, survey about somebody else. This is about you. So, but yeah, I mean, it's important to find a balance in some of these cases. Allow somebody else to carry some of the load. Bring other people to your appointments, or bring somebody else in to translate some of this stuff. So, but yeah, my wife made it pretty great. My only job was building myself into a warrior and win this battle. That was all I had to do. And she sheltered me from everything negative, and she promoted me practicing self care and meditation, yoga, uh, some sort of exercise, whether it just be standing up and sitting down at the couch. She made me continue. She insisted that I make a priority, that I wasn't continuing to poison myself with a diet of gluttony or laziness or whatever the case may be. She made it a point. She told me, motion creates emotion. Get up, let's go. She just kept me active, even if it was just moving from room to room. She wanted to continue to make sure my blood was pumping. It's funny because as soon as I got into a structured and moderate lifestyle, everything became easier to manage. And um, when things fall into place and become organized, uh, the chaos and the chaos, it all leaves the room, and your thoughts begin to settle. And I mean, it just really it creates a little bit of peace. Not until I got cancer was I ever aware of how unhappy I was. I was miserable, a miserable person. I was angry and mean all the time, and it was just people were just waiting for the old Kevin to explode. I was never happy, and I was always wanting more stuff. It was always stuff, grinding every day, and just in an effort to keep up with the Joneses. You're always wanting stuff. So I started thinking about why I was so unhappy, and I started thinking, like taking inventory about why I was so unhappy, and just taking inventory of my own life, and I realized that until you begin to appreciate what you have, you'll never be satisfied. It's not even possible to be satisfied until you find a reason to be grateful for something. You can never have any pattern of happiness at all. So it's important. You might have moments of joy. There might be moments of joy here and there, but you'll never have true happiness until you learn how to be great. And happiness is only sustainable through gratitude. That's an absolute fact. I I mean I would challenge anybody to say otherwise. But and when you start being grateful for things, that that in itself helps you start appreciating other people, and that energy bounces. It does it bounces off of everybody else, and it really it's a cycle. And it truly is contagious. As soon as I felt the shift in my energy when I was sick, I knew that I had to harness it and get to work on building back a better version of myself. If not to be a better version of the person who got sick, well, why then would I even battle so hard? I mean, why? Because nobody really wants to fight for the old guy, right? The old Kevin. He wasn't really that desirable, to be honest with you. So, I got to figure out what my purpose is. If not to be a better person than who got sick, let me figure out what is my purpose here. So why would God shine his favor upon me? And I got the best thing I can think of is that every encounter that I have, that specific encounter could potentially be my purpose. And if I meet that encounter as the old Kevin, the version of myself that got sick, the undesirable Kevin, and I push that person away, whoever that person I'm encountering, if I push that person away, I could have just turned my back on the entire reason that God has blessed me with this favor. He's kept me in this favor, under his favor, for all this time. And it does, I believe it truly keeps me accountable. It keeps me a better person. And it keeps me aligned with God. And it's right where I need to be. So seemingly, I found that when you're living for the right reasons, happiness, it kind of falls into place. And right as I say it falls into place, my mic stand falls into place. So yeah, so your mentality changes, and you don't have to go mow the lawn. You get to go mow the lawn. Every single day presents more opportunities, and every opportunity is a gift. And every day presents more opportunities. Every opportunity is a gift, and I mean, I can't wait to attack my chore list every day. And I guess I'm showered in gifts that in that respect, because I have a lot of chores. So listen, folks, all these things that I'm talking about, if I'm all of them that I'm talking to you about, the details and the bullet points that I'm trying to refer to, it's they're all great things, to put into place that are going to solidify your foundation, right? And with all of this, the peace of mind and everything, it's going to start shifting your energy. So now you have more opportunity, and now you need to start building back a stronger version. As soon as that window of energy shifts, and you have that window of opportunity, now's the time you got to start building back a better version. Take a shower, splash some water on your face, get off the couch, do some stretches. Get that blood pumping, circulate. Just emotion creates emotion. You hear me say it, right? If you get the blood pumping, if it helps, relate your motivation to purpose. If that helps, relate your motivation to purpose, and find a reason to be selfless or to do for others, and create a newfound purpose. Say, create a newfound purpose where you become a service to others. There is a direct correlation. I truly do believe that there's a direct correlation between motivation and purpose. And to have motivation when there is no purpose or direction, it's hard to have it's hard to have motivation when there's no purpose or direction. I- but it is impossible to have motivation without discipline. So now is the time to exercise discipline. Who are you? You got to do some soul searching and find out who you are. Now's the time to let them hear your war cry. Go ahead and give them a roar. Now's the time to let them hear your war cry. You did not go through adversity to build up your character. You went through adversity to reveal this character that you have, the character that you're showing today. Now is the time to reveal the warrior that you have become. The foundation that you laid, everything that you've done to build yourself to this point. Now is the time to reveal the warrior that you have become. There is nobody coming to rescue. Nobody coming to rescue you. This is your cross to bear. Nobody else could carry these buckets of water for you. Nobody could take these punches for you. This disease does not define you by any means. It's not who you are. Show me the warrior that we are building, and I will show you the winner of this battle. That's what it really all comes down to. Folks, please like, share, subscribe, and all those computers things and social media things. Do all that stuff that we need to do to support building this platform so we could reach a larger audience. I mean, the more people that we reach, the better chances that we will go ahead and save somebody's life. This message needs to get to the person who needs to hear it. Thank you so much for all the dialogue and support that you guys are doing on the participation that you guys are doing on our Facebook group page, and all the dialogue that you guys are exercising, or you're giving your research up, you're contributing to the page, you're growing the database is really what you're doing. Thank you guys. Everybody is welcome to contribute, and I'm so grateful for everybody's contribution. And hopefully everybody has a great week, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Stay vigilant,